into Yankee Stadium on a hot night here in the Bronx. A.J. Burnett on the mound. Let's take a look at the Rangers starting lineup that he's going to face, and it's a good lineup. Leading off and playing second base is Ian Kinsler. Michael Young at third will bat second. Good numbers lifetime against the Yankees. Hank Blalock, DH, hits third. Cleaning up playing right field, Nelson Cruz. David Murphy in left field will bat fifth, batting sixth, and playing center, Marlon Byrd. Chris Davis at first base is going to bat seventh. Jared Saltalamacchia, the catcher, will bat hit eighth. And Elvis Andrus, the shortstop, is going to bat ninth. These are the numbers on A.J. Burnett, 3-2, 4.78. Less than a hit per inning and 57 strikeouts in 64 innings. Let's take a look now at the Jeep Pitchers Scouting Report.
Well, second time around, I mean, his last outing was against the Rangers. I mean, he threw 6 scoreless innings and picked up the 9-2 win. Home cooking, I mean, he's had a little trouble here. He hasn't recorded a win at the new Yankee Stadium yet in 5 starts, and that's tough. But he needs a decision. In my mind, pitchers get this mental thing where they don't rack up a lot of wins. I mean, he's got 3 wins coming into this game. That's not a lot for the type of pitcher he is at this time of the year.
And the 0-1 to Kinsler is high, so we're underway here at the stadium. Count 1-1. Yankees had a great May. So did the Rangers. Rangers 20-9 in May, and only the second time in club history they had 20 wins in a month. There's a strike, and the count 1-2. Well, these are the 2 best records in the American League going at each other. Rangers at 30-20, the Yankees at 30-21. The 1-2, and that's fisted into center field. It's a base hit. Playing it out there is Brett Gardner, and Ian Kinsler leads off with a single. Let's take a look at the Yankee defense that will be backing up A.J. Burnett. In the outfield, you've got Damon in left. Gardner you already saw in center. Melky Cabrera over and right. In the infield, A-Rod, Jeter, Canó, and Teixeira. That's third to first. Posada behind the plate. Burnett is on the mound. 18 straight games without an error. And that is a major league record. Here's Michael Young. He can rake.
Flat out, huh?
He can flat out rake.
Wow. It's funny. Sometimes you get these things major league first. You know, it could be some fluke stat of, you know, hits and whatever. But when you catch the baseball and you make the plays, I mean, that's not a fluke stat. This team right now, you know, offensively is playing well. Defensively, they're catching the ball. That's why they're on. You know, that's why in the last 20 games they've racked up so many wins. That's
a nice breaking ball there for a strike to Michael Young. I was talking to Jabba Chamberlain today, Paul, and he said that he thinks that one of the reasons the defense is playing so well is that the pitchers are throwing the ball and doing it in a hurry. They're not sitting on the mound looking in for the count, shaking off and things like that. They have a nice rhythm going, and the players stay on their toes.
You know what? That's like what you read about in books and things like that, and it does have something behind it. As an everyday player, you love a guy who pitches fast. But I tell you what, defensively, you got to catch the ball. You got to make the plays. And in my mind, that's just coming. See a foul ball. That's just coming to the ballpark ready to play. I mean, when the first pitch is thrown, you're ready to play defensively. You're ready to play a baseball game like you used to do in Little League and high school.
IOTV offers you incredible HD picture and sound. HD is free with IOTV, the official HD service provider. Yankees baseball on Yes. Runner goes, 1-2 is low, throw to second is wide. So Ian Kinsler with a stolen base.
Again, Texas does a lot of things offensively, this being one of them. I mean, and Jorge Posada just back in the lineup a few days ago. You're going to test him to see how he throws early in the year. Everybody wondered if he's going to be able to throw. You see, didn't quite get on top of that ball, kind of tails to the first base side.
Stolen base for Kinsler, and that one's grounded up the middle. Canó was right there, positioning him perfectly. So Young is out as Kinsler moves to third.
You know, that's a frustrating thing for a player. You know, you're trying to get the guy over and get him in, and right there you hit it right back up the middle, and all of a sudden you figure out what in the world is this guy playing right behind the bag. But sometimes middle infielders get stuck there because they're holding the runner, and it ends up costing you a base hit.
Yankees will play the infield back for Hank Blalock. Line drive right at Jeter. That's not going to get the job done. Let's look at the game time weather conditions presented by Bigelow Tea. It's kind of hot and humid in the Bronx tonight. 73 degrees is the temperature. 72% is the humidity. 7 miles per hour. And there's a chance of late showers, Paul.
I've been gone a couple weeks, Mike, and I have missed your weather forecast. I got to tell you.
I've misgiven them.
Yeah.
Here's Nelson Cruz. Cruz, good numbers. 12 homers. Check that, 14 homers, 36 ribbies. And there's a strike.
Burnett's got to feel real fortunate right here. I mean, Kinsler on second base. He hits a ball up the middle. Canó makes that play. And then a line drive at Jeter. Now you still have an opportunity to get out of this inning without giving up a run.
Grounded foul. 0-2. Let's take a look at the scouting report on Nelson Cruz.
Well, he's red hot. I mean, he's hitting .395 over his last 12 games with 7 home runs. And step up. Everybody knows with Josh Hamilton out of the lineup, you're going to have to look for other people for offense. And a long way. I mean, he doesn't just hit home runs. I mean, this guy right here has as much power as anybody. Didn't use it there, though.
Not at all, as he swings and misses. So, A.J. Burnett escapes trouble as Nelson Cruz swings at a breaking ball right over the top. No runs a hit. 1 man left. Rangers nothing. Yankees coming to bat. Is the pitcher for the Rangers. 8 starts, 3-2, 4.71, about a hit per inning, 26 strikeouts, 20 walks. Opponents hit .263 against him. Let's take a look now at the Jeep pitcher scouting report, Paul.
Well, he's not the same. I mean, he used to be a dominant guy throwing mid-90s to upper 90s. That was the old days. I mean, he's coming back. He's been on the disabled list. His last start was on May 16th. And this is unusual. He's on a hot streak, and usually when you're injured, you're not playing well. His two starts before then, he had 2 one-hitters, and that hadn't happened. He's the 8th pitcher in 56 years to do something like that. So he was on a hot streak before he came up with shoulder problems.
Jeter upstairs, and the count 1-0. Derek has a 15-game hitting streak. Overall hitting .311, hitting .409, 27 for 66 during the streak, and of the 15 games, 6 of them multi-hit games. Foul back. Yankees 5-2 on their last road trip. Texas, which had a great May, actually lost 2 out of 3 to the Yankees. And then the Yankees took 3 out of 4 in Cleveland. Last 19 games, the Yankees 15-4, and during that run, 6.05 runs per game, and the pitchers are pitching to a 3.41 ERA. That's having every component working for you, Paul.
Yeah, I mean, it was funny because I went down on the field during batting practice, and it was loud around the batting cage. And I'm not talking about the ball off the bat. I'm just talking about a lot of people talking, chirping, and that's just the good feeling of everything going right at one time in a team. There's so many people on this team now. Offensively, they're doing good things. Defense, we talked about their defense. The pitchers are starting to step up, and all of a sudden you just feel like when you take the field, you're going to win, and there comes a great attitude with that. Look, Joe Girardi's even smiling.
And Jeter rips one into right center field. Bird does not make the play. Got it on the short hop. So Jeter gets a single, and he has a 16-game hitting streak. And I believe this is the 7th time in the last 8 games that he has led off the game with a single.
You see Bird looking at that. I mean, every once in a while as an outfielder, you get a good read on the ball, and then all of a sudden before it goes in your glove, you kind of lose it in the stands. You lose it in the fans that have white shirts on and things like that. And you see that little stutter step there. Good call by the umpire. Ball short hop. Those are the things that happen when you're hitting the ball well and you're going through a hitting streak.
Leading off the first inning, he's hit safely now in 10 of his last 12 games. So Jeter's feeling pretty good. So he's 28 for his last 67. Damon's a little banged up. See his numbers against Texas. His shoulder's been bothering him. His leg bothered him running into a wall the other day. So he was off yesterday. Gave him a little bit of a blow.
You'll see that pitch right there for Padilla every so often. Now again, he's not the same pitcher. He'll throw that like blue ball almost, like a curveball. Early in the count, just kind of a get me over to try to have the pitch, the hitter just take it an early strike.
There's a strike count, 1-1. Padilla's from Nicaragua. And he's in the final year of a 3-year, $33.75 free agent contract that he signed with the Rangers. They have an option for next year at $12 million. Check swing, did he go? No, said Dana DeMuth.
And you've seen just in the sequence of pitches in this at bat, you've seen a kind of a blue ball as a curveball, a hard fastball, straight fastball in on his hands, and then kind of a batting practice kind of fading sinker. So 3 completely different pitches in one at bat.
Inside 3-1. Take a look at the entire umpiring crew. Behind the plate, you've got Doug Eddings. At first base, Hunter Wendelstedt. Brian Knight is at second, and Dana DeMuth over at third.
So
DeMuth is the crew chief.
He's got the night off, according to you, right?
Absolutely. You think that's hard work? Third base off?
You think we should send him some food or something?
Runner goes, pitcher's upstairs, so a walk to Damon as Jeter moves to second.
It's funny when I look at Maddox. Greg Maddox's brother, obviously, and they look so much alike that I almost look at him. I've got that feeling because his brother used to drive you crazy because he could get you out time and time again with the Braves. So.
You think he looks like Greg? You think Mike Maddox looks like Greg?
I see enough of it. Yeah, really? There's something about that hat and those little eyes that I think I'm ready to face this guy again.
He's a good pitching coach. So here's Mark Teixeira against his former teammates. Mark has a 14-game hitting streak. And he has the average up to 282. And the pitch. Inside, 1-0.
Such a difference in a hitting streak from Teixeira and a hitting streak that we're seeing through Jeter. Jeter gets his singles. He's hit a couple home runs, obviously, this year. But when Teixeira goes through a hot streak, look at those numbers. RBIs, home runs. All of a sudden, your team starts scoring runs when your big guys go through big hitting streaks.
Now, there must be something to it because since A-Rod returned, and it's been 23 games now, Teixeira's hitting .370 with 11 homers and 29 ribbies. It's nice to have protection. The 1-1. Breaking ball, he swings over the top.
Don't forget, though, that remember they brought Tino Martinez in. He sat down and talked with him. Was the last weekend that we did a game? Who was that against, Mike? Come on, off the top of your head. Let's go.
Don't know. I think it was the Phillies.
No,
you weren't here for the Phillies?
No. Got me all confused now, right?
Twins.
There you go. See? And all of a sudden, at that time, everybody was shaking their head, and then you put those stats up now, and you think, what a great year this guy. And that's the type of numbers that, Teixeira can put up in a matter of, a couple weeks.
So you give total credit to Tino?
Well, definitely had something to do with it.
1-2. Hey, sometimes they say fixing the mind is more important than fixing the mechanics.
You know what? When you can sit down and talk to a guy that's been through what you're going through, ex-players, ex-first baseman, ex-Yankee, and Tino Martinez, it just makes you relax a little bit more. I mean, when you hear it from a reporter, or you hear it from a coach, or you hear it from, you know, a scout or something, and you think, you know, they're not with it every day. They haven't been through the same things that the same kind of guy, the same kind of place that Tino has. So it might have helped. I don't think it's just coincidence.
Now the count is 3-2, so the Yankees have a decision. So I'll ask you, Paul, do you send Jeter and Damon?
I don't think so. I think that, you know, Padilla has good enough stuff to get a strikeout if he makes a pitch, and you've got Alex Rodriguez on the on-deck circle. It's hard to run yourself out of an inning with your big guys coming up.
They do not go. Ball, foul ball.
And you can see Padilla held that, and the easiest way to steal third base is to be walking towards third. And he made Derek Jeter come to a complete standstill. See that little cut fastball in on Teixeira's hand? Just fouled it off. That's a good pitch, 3-2. I mean, that's a good pitch as a hitter to foul that one off, to know you still have a chance to get something better to hit.
Three-2. Shattered bat, a ground ball, a second. They get one, and there's no return. And that's going to bring up Alex Rodriguez. Alex brings a 7-game hitting streak into this game. A .393 batting average over that time, .259 overall. So Jeter is at third, Teixeira is at first. One man out, bottom of the first inning, no score. And Padilla gets him to swing and miss.
That's an unusual swing for Alex, especially on the first pitch, because, you know, as a power hitter, a big name hitter like him, usually you have an idea of what he just looks like. He, you know, kind of waved at that pitch, kind of looking for something, and swung at something else.
Popped him up. That's not going to get it done. Chris Davis is there, and there were two away. So Teixeira and A-Rod cannot push across a run. Now that leaves it up to Robinson Canó.
This is the first pitch. First pitch, it just looks like he was looking for maybe a ball inside, and he just swung at a pitch away. This ball, now another good pitch to hit. That's up in the zone. Just got under it. Frustrating part of the game if you're a hitter, to go up in the first inning, not really in the rhythm of the game yet with that opportunity. Michael, I got to confess, you know, every once in a while you put your head down and run in from the outfield thinking there's 3 outs.
You forget that? Yeah.
I took my headset off, man. I was ready to listen to you take us out.
I thought that your ears were just sweating. I wasn't even going to give you up. You just took those babies off.
It will be before the night's over, believe me.
And there's a strike.
I'll tell you what it is, though, with this two-man booth tonight. I'm not used to hearing myself talk so much. I mean, we're in the first inning here. I've talked a lot.
I think you've talked more than you have in the last 3 years.
Coney, Kenny Singleton, those guys usually picking me up.
We can call Coney and
somebody miss a flight or something. Flip doesn't trust me with this, does he?
The 0-1. Upstairs.
In years past, Padilla was known as a guy who's not afraid to go in, not afraid to hit guys either. Right here, it's a ball up and in with the intent of getting somebody off the plate. It's amazing how easy that looks on TV to get out of the way. But I'll tell you what, you see the seams of that baseball, and it look like they're right at the tip of your nose.
Grounded to second. So Padilla works out of problems. as Canó grounds out to Kinsler. Now Paul can take off his headset. No runs a hit, no errors, and 2 men left at the end of 1. No score here in the Bronx. .100 HD channels and the fastest internet. This is Fios. This is big. Scott Feldman, 4-0, 3.91. Goes up against Andy Pettit. Andy says his back is fine. Looking for win number 6. Our coverage begins at 6 with the BP show. 6:30 is our pregame show. And 7:08 will be first pitch. Here's David Murphy. And there's a strike.
Pretty good pitching matchup when you look at combined 9-1 going into the game tomorrow with the 2 starters.
Now you see Buddy Posada behind the plate there. So I was talking to him in Cleveland. I said, is it tough to watch games when you're injured? I said, well, I was down in Tampa. I was watching the games on TV. He said, I try to scout our starters to see what they like to throw in certain situations. So what else did you learn? He said, well, thanks to O'Neill, I learned that you have a really big head.
Well, see, I'm glad I left Georgie with something, you know.
So that's great. That's what he took out of it.
I think it's just the high def. Maybe it makes it look bigger or something.
Pitches inside. He particularly liked when you telestrated the head. That he enjoyed. That was good times for him.
Well, it's good to see Georgie back, and I'm sure a lot of the people out here, it usually takes a player, a week or so to get back in the rhythm.
Well, Canó got eaten up by that one. We'll see how they score it. Could that be the Yankees' first error?
I wouldn't think so. That ball was absolutely ripped. Kind of a short hop. You kind of what they call olay it, and just try to catch it somehow. Ball kind of short hop and hit hard.
And it scored a hit.
Kind of olayed it off the heel of his glove instead of the pocket. And right there, you see when you get it off the heel, sometimes you see him squeeze that hand. It kind of gets that soft part of your wrist.
Pitch to Marlon Byrd is inside.
Back to Posada again. It's just to have your everyday lineup in there. I think it makes everybody relax because everybody's roles are so much more. You know what you're supposed to do, and I think the pitchers are glad to see him back. But it takes a few games or a week or so to get back in the rhythm of playing every day.
He played 2 games and took 1 game off. In Cleveland, 1 game off was Sunday. It was a day game after a night game. Popped up and fouled away.
Good fastball up in the zone. And you see Marlon Byrd here. I mean, he's going to be their everyday center fielder with Josh Hamilton on the DL. A lot of pitchers can't get away with that ball right there down the middle, up in the zone. Burnett has enough movement, enough velocity to get by with that one.
Well, Hamilton before the game was put on the 15-day DL with a right abdominal strain as Burnett goes to first. Padilla was put on the active roster, and Brandon Boggs, an outfielder, was called up to replace Hamilton from AAA, and Guillermo Moscaso was sent down to AAA. He's a pitcher to make room for Padilla.
Can you see Bird? I mean, that ball was supposed to be away and ended up tailing in on him. It kind of jammed him a little bit. But see, Georgie has to move his glove all the way across the plate. But, you know, again, they're throwing over to first base. You see the ball just eats him up inside. Kind of throwing a lot of fastballs in the count, wondering if Georgie's thinking about this team is going to come in here. Looks like he caught him leaning there. And Kinsler steals a base in the first inning. You wonder if that's a game plan. Are they going to try to run every opportunity they get?
So Gary Pettis, the first base coach, run and whisper something in the ear of Murphy. Maybe he caught something that Burnett was tipping, whether it was coming over. Popped up. Posada waves off Teixeira and makes the play.
When you look at those pitches again, I don't think Burnett hit his target at any point in that at bat. But he has good enough stuff early in the game where Bird popped that ball up, was eaten up on a couple balls, and you see that ball's supposed to be away. Ends up tailing up and in. But with that movement again, you get away with it.
And that's one of the problems that Jim Wong had early. Because Burnett's stuff is so electric that he could miss his location and still get you out. But when Jim Wong was throwing 91, if he was missing location, he was getting crushed.
And it's amazing how, you know, even when you see pitchers later in their career, you know, guys that used to throw 92, 93, and all of a sudden they get down to 90, 89. It's not just their fastball. It's their movement. You see Georgie's going to get one right off the mask. Oh, my.
Wow.
You know, it's funny. There's not too many things on the field, Michael, that every player hasn't been through. But unless you're a catcher, you can't really explain that. I mean, you kidding me? A ball just ricochets off your face mask. It's gotta hurt. It's gotta shake you up for a minute.
The 0-1 upstairs. Chris Davis is one of those all or nothing at all guys. He can hit home runs, but boy, can he strike out. .194. 128 games, he's had 29 home runs. Runner goes. Pitch is swung and missed. The throw is not in time. So David Murphy with a stolen base.
You see, he didn't have a very big lead. And again, ball's a little high. He gets out, it gets rid of it quick, but the ball's kind of sailing on him. It seems like he's on top.
165 at bats for Davis, 77 strikeouts. 1-2. I don't know about that, Paul. I don't know the wisdom of carrying that kind of bat in the lineup.
Yeah,
there's very little that it can do for you.
It's really hard to win with a lot of these type of guys in your lineup, but I think that they feel that, you know, he's going to make more contact. He's going to hit his home runs, obviously.
There's strikeout number 78. Paul, if you triple that number, we're a third of the way through. He's got about 240 strikeouts.
Yeah, he can break some records. There's no doubt. Now, you know, most people have a hole right in here, but if you're looking at that many strikeouts, I mean, what it is most guys have a little area. He's probably got an area, you know, it is out in here that he's not hitting, and that's where you get all your strikeouts. But if you miss in that one spot, good pitch there, runs back over the inside corner, that's where he hits his home runs. But right now, he's got too big of a void as a hitter. And you're just going to have to make some adjustments to be able to cover some more pitches, put the ball in play more, give yourself an opportunity to get some more hits.
Saltalamacchia takes strike. You know that's a long name, okay? Because when the first letter and the last letter is under your armpit, that's a long name. That's a horseshoe name.
I say that's half a circle right there.
Saltalamacchia. So Burnett has 2 strikes on the Texas catcher. We're in the top of the 7th. There's no score. Runner at 7. 2 men out. And the 0-2. Wow. Burnett thought that was strike 3.
I think a lot of people did right there. That ball again is that back door, the front door like 2-seamer. See that late movement over the inside part of the plate. And if I'm a hitter, I feel like I'm pretty lucky to still be at the plate right now.
Swing and foul tip. And the 1-2 stays alive. If you had longer to think, like if you could have like 5-6 minutes between pitches, would you guess better? Is there enough time for you to think?
You know, it's funny because I used to talk to people that would try to get your head right on hitting it, and there is a time thing where, you know, you could get a certain pitch out of your mind. Guys that step right back in the box, you can't get rid of that last pitch.
Right.
And it's like 12 or 15 seconds or something before you can get it out of your mind. But sure, the longer you can slow down things.
Oh, he didn't have enough time.
That wasn't a pretty swing.
Swung on and missed. So 3 strikeouts in 2 innings for A.J. Burnett. No runs a hit, no errors, and 1 man left on base. We go to the bottom of the 2nd. There's no score on yes. Oh, Paul just made fun of me on the scoreboard. We'll fill you in on that as we move along. Here's Jorge Posada. And there's a breaking ball a little bit high. Anyway, they had Paul and I on the big scoreboard, and a thought cloud coming out of Paul's head. I can't believe I'm sitting next to Michael Kay. And then Paul made a gesture that said my head was big.
Is that what that is when you put up there, a thought cloud?
Yeah, I guess so.
Never heard
like
that
a comic
before.
cloud. Pitch inside. You know, Paul and I were talking off the air, and I thought it was really interesting about the length between pitches. And you've actually talked to people that say there's a certain amount of time that has to go by for you to digest that last thing.
Sports psychologists have, and it's been proven that, you know, the big thing was if a guy knocked you down to get straight back into the box. And it was proven that it takes 10 or 12, I don't know the exact, it was 10 or 12 seconds to get that pitch out of your mind. So you're better off dusting off, let that time pass, process that pitch, and then get back to what your strategy was of hitting.
So if you get right back in, you're still thinking about that beanball.
Yeah, you're still looking at that seam coming at you, and before you know it, the next pitch, and you haven't, you know, recovered to try to get back to what you're trying to do as a hitter. So sometimes it's better to step back, act like you have something in your eye, anything, to try to get that extra, 5 or 6 seconds to get back where you need to be as a hitter.
See, Bernie Williams was ahead of the curve because he would take forever between pitches, take little walks around the plate.
But there's a difference, though, because most people would do it intentionally. Bernie just did it. He didn't know why he was doing it. He was just kind of doing it.
Ground ball, right side through for a base hit for Posada.
And if you're Joe Girardi, if you watch that pitch on video, I mean, that's a good swing. That's a good pitch right on the inside part of the plate. Georgie stays in, and he's quick enough to get to it. Great piece of hitting right there where you don't get jammed, but you don't fly. That front hip stays in. Good fastball inside. Drive those hands through, get the barrel of the bat to it. And it doesn't matter what angle you take. That was a good swing.
Matsui serves one down the left field line. That's going to be trouble. It's a foul ball.
We talked about that time to get back in the box, and this is where he's a hitter. It's like, yeah, just my luck. I just hit one down the line, and it's a foot foul or something like that, and you just gotta block these things out because you got to remember your at bats there, and you see that ball missed by about a foot.
Matsui with a pinch hit walk in yesterday's win. He's 8 for his last 19 in his last 6 games. Red hot, 421. That one is lined to right field. Going back is Cruz, and he can't make the play. It'll be off the base of the wall. Posada around second. Now they're going to have both runners at second. Posada held up. They will tag him out. Matsui will stay at second with the double. Posada didn't seem to be running very well, and didn't seem like he wanted any part of third. If he had gone to third, the throw would not have gone there.
Well, it's a tough read on Jorge's spot because, the right fielder has an opportunity to catch this ball. It gets over his head, but if you watch, Matsui was going to actually go back to first. He had a good read on Posada, but then Georgie decided not to go, and then Hideki had made his mind up. You see Jorge, don't really know yet. All right, but I'm probably going to go to third here, but no, I'm not. And that's right there where he tricked Matsui. And Matsui kept going.
Matsui doesn't get a double. He gets only a single. The put out is 9.65.
See, Matsui rips it right on the nose, and he doesn't even know if it's going to be caught. But you see, he gets a good read on Georgie. He stopped, but then Georgie made that burst, and he put his head down. And then, oh, that's a bad feeling right there. That's a big play for Badia. I mean, you're looking at second and third and one out. You're looking at probably giving up a couple runs, and all of a sudden now you got that cheap out, and you try to bust your hitter, get him out of there, and you get out of an inning like Burnett has in a couple without giving up that run.
Malky 6 for his last 18. Hitting .316 overall. Missed the first 3 games in Cleveland with a sore right shoulder. Heard it running into the wall in Texas. Count 1-2.
And Padilla and Burnett are both using that two-seamer, trying to run it in from the hip of the left-handed hitter to get that inside corner. Tough pitch to hit as a hitter. Count 2-2. That's what a lot of pitchers will do. You'll start that ball off with the two-seamer right at your hip and try to run it in over the inside corner. But then you start that cut fastball right on the corner and try to run it in off it. And as a hitter, it's really important to pick up the seams of the baseball to see which way it's spinning.
There's a ground ball to second base. Ian Kinsler. 2 away as Matsui advances to third. Rob Thompson, the third base coach, talking things over with Hideki. And that's going to bring up Brett Gardner. Gardner was 8 for 23 on the road trip. Back since May 13th in 19 games, 349. The game the Yankees lost on Sunday in Cleveland, Gardner made a couple of mistakes, and that's part of the growing pains with a young player. One of them was he's at first base and he was told to steal, and he decided that he couldn't get a good jump, and Posada banged into a double play to end the inning. And Joe Girardi told him later, when I tell you to steal, you have to steal.
There's no, I mean, when a manager tells you to steal, you're going. If you're on your own, you don't have to go. If they give you the steal sign, you're going. They want you in motion.
There's a strike. Count 1-1.
You're probably questioning if that ball's high. Innings right now, it seems like he's not giving that ball in the inside corner to lefties. That was a pitcher early in the game. You're trying to figure out whether you can get that high strike or the ball away.
And the 1-1. Grounded off the glove of the first baseman Davis. It trickles into right. It's an RBI single, and the Yankees have a 1-0 lead.
Brett Gardner hits it hard, but you saw Padilla shake off a few pitches, and I don't think that they wanted to throw this breaking ball, but he gave him a good pitch to hit. I think that when you get in Gardner's case, you got to make him hit the ball, make him hit your best stuff, and that's not a slider out of the middle of the plate.
Gardner's first RBI since May 15th. That was 12 games ago. Here's Jeter.
Well, those are always a relief when you stop stuff like that. Believe me, it goes through anybody's mind when you haven't driven a run in or haven't gotten a hit in a certain amount of time. That's the thing about baseball, Michael. There's so much idle time to go over these crazy things that I haven't got a hit in a week. I haven't hit a left-hander in 2 weeks. I haven't driven in a run in a week. Michael K's bugging me after the game for interviews. Just all kinds of stuff that go through your head.
Now, in all seriousness, that's why you didn't want reporters coming up and telling you trends and stuff like that.
I mean, you don't. There's so many things that you need to think about on the field, and as soon as you hear the other things, it's like there's too much things kind of muddy the water up there. You just get too cluttered with things, and you don't think about just going out and playing the game.
Hot shot up the middle off the foot of Padilla, goes straight up in the air, and Gardner is safe. Andrus thought that he had his foot on the bag when he caught that high chopper, but the second base umpire, Brian Knight, said no, so the Yankees have runners on first and second, and manager Ron Washington's going to talk things over with Knight.
And again, Andrus is going to have plenty of time with most guys on first base to tag second base, but Gardner with his speed makes this a quick play, goes off of Padilla's foot. Oh, good call. He's not even close to the bag, but did he get him on the tag? No, it doesn't look like it.
So Jeter gets a single, his 7th consecutive multi-hit game.
Jeter hitting the ball well, but he can't make it out if he tries right now. Everything's going well.
There's Damon. Now Jeter with 7 straight multi-hit games. That ties his career high. Set that back in 1999. Oh, that was a long time ago. Paul was playing league. He's putting together a very good season.
See Jeet kind of in the corner of his eye as a runner from first base. Your only thing is you're reading off the second base runner, and that's Gardner. And you know there's a possibility that he can always steal. You don't have to worry about getting picked off because the first baseman's back on defense. So your only job is to get a good lead and try to read Gardner on second base to see if he's going to try to steal.
Gardner inching off, and that's why Padilla stepped off.
This is one of the better times, if you remember, that Tino Martinez and Andy Pettit would use that pickoff move, because as a runner from first base, you're staring at that guy. With the first baseman back, Andy Pettit would go up into a windup, and Tino would cut right back in here for an easy pickoff.
Count 3-0. And on deck is Mark Teixeira. And there's a strike, 3-1. Bases are loaded. So Damon walks for the second time. Now Maddox comes out the top.
And if you're Ron Washington, you got to feel here's a guy just coming off the disabled list. I mean, you're happy with his velocity. You're happy with, you know, what you see on the mound. But all of a sudden you look up, you know, you're 45 pitches in the bottom of the second inning with bases loaded. And, you know he's not going to give you 100, 110, 120 pitches because he's been out. So already you're trying to figure out what part of that bullpen is going to get you through this game.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the New York Yankees. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. The accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the aforementioned New York Yankees. Want to clear one thing up. A couple of people have texted me, why doesn't Matsui get a double? Because he ended up on second. Because in actuality, Posada never vacated second base. He was thrown out at third. So in order for him to get a double, Posada would have had to safely get to third base. The only reason that Matsui got to second was because of the throw. So that's why he doesn't get a double.
I'm glad you cleared that up for me, man.
Thank you. Saw Teixeira's numbers with the bases loaded. Outstanding. Count 1-0. 363 hitter with the bases loaded. Now with 2 outs and runners in scoring position so far this series, 8 for 20. That's 400. Padilla going from the full windup. And with Gardner, that's a balk. He got unnerved by Gardner. And the Yankees lead 2-0. You could see it. He started to go the full wind, which is the wrong guy to do it with at third. And then he thought better of it and stopped.
Okay, you're right, Michael. He stepped back to go into the windup, and then kind of had that just moment of indecision. The next thing you know, you see him running across the plate. But this is where you really got to recover. I mean, a base hit right here puts you down 4-0. So you've got to get this out. You got to minimize the damage here. Realize that you got a pretty good offensive chance of scoring some runs.
That got Teixeira. I'll tell you what, Padilla is not shy about coming inside. Paul said it earlier, and he has dusted a couple of Yankees only in the second inning.
Yeah, all of a sudden you wonder if he has thrown a lot up and in with a man on third. You just wonder if you see a guy frustrated that they stole a run by kind of playing that cat and mouse game at third base with Gardner. Get an open base, and all of a sudden, you're not afraid to hit a guy, and you'll throw up and in.
A-Rod takes the pitch, long away. Look at A-Rod's numbers with the bases loaded. 345 with 17 grand slams.
7, that's amazing. That's a big number.
That's a huge number. Well, the bases are loaded right now. Yankees lead 2-0. And the pitch. Grounded foul.
You see that good two-seam fastball there on the inner half coming into the right. He's been thrown away. And guys like Alex Rodriguez, you really try to have to tie him up inside. If he gets his arms extended, he doesn't have to try to pull the ball, especially in the new Yankee Stadium where you can shoot the ball out to right center.
48 pitches, 25 strikes, 23 balls. Now 2-1.
What's funny is this inning has progressed. He's gone more to his fastball. And you wonder if you've almost lost sight of his slider. This is a tough time to try to bring it out with Alex Rodriguez, who can catch up to a slider real easy.
Grounded off the body of Padilla. He recovers, finds it, and gets out A-Rod for the final out. But the Yankees take the lead. They score 2 runs on 4 hits, no errors, and the bases are left loaded. They've left 5 on, but they lead 2-0. Well, we go to the 3rd inning here at Yankee Stadium. That's the view from the outfield. And there's a strike as we go to the 3rd. The Modell scoreboard shows the Yankees leading 2-0. Modell's the official sporting goods retailer of the Yankees. Elvis Andrus with an 0-1 count. Missed outside. Yankees are 16-6 when they score first. How about this for a stat? The last 5 at-bats Alex Rodriguez has had, 3 of those at-bats he's come up with the bases loaded. So the Yankees are getting people on base. 1-2.
We talked about it in the pregame, Michael. It's not like it's just 1 or 2 people. Obviously, Derek Jeter's going through a great streak. Teixeira's going through a great streak. But up and down that lineup, you're pretty solid. There's nobody that's, not doing something. There are people on base. There's opportunities for everybody to drive in runs.
And Andrus is down looking. 4th strikeout for Burnett. Hey, fans, it's time for the Toyota text poll. Tonight's question is, prior to Mark Teixeira and Alex Rodriguez, who made up the Yankees' best corner infield duo in the last 40 years? You can text your vote to 58772. Standard text messaging rates apply. Good choices here. Chambliss and Nettles, number 1. Mattingly and Pagliarulo, number 2. Mattingly and Boggs, number 3. And Tino and Scott Brocious, number 4. Not an easy choice.
Big names on that list. Cat Mattingly on twice. Does it give you better odds when you're on the list twice?
I would think so, don't you think?
You're an English guy. You're not a math guy. We're going through odds here, right?
I did well on the math part of the SAT.
Is that right?
I was an all-around geek.
I'm glad to know that.
The 0-1. Looks like Burnett's feeling it right now. He has a good feel about the pitches. He's on the mound quickly, working.
You know, it's funny. We've seen him miss some pitches and guys are fouling, but when he hits his spot and he's in a rhythm, it looks so easy for him to get outs. I mean, it's just the thing about him is once in a while he gets too much movement on that fastball and he gets out over the middle of the plate.
Wendell Stepp said he did not go.
Again, if you're a Texas Ranger fan, here's one of the guys that you just hope that the future is going to build around. I mean, Kinsler is his 4th year in the major leagues, already kind of a household name down in Texas and becoming more so around the country.
Driven out to right field and deep. Going back is Melky Cabrera on the track at the wall. He makes the play.
You see Melky, and that's where you see the kind of you talked about those wind currents. I mean, there's an outfielder that looked like got an easy break on the ball, and all of a sudden it's going to be an easy play, and you see all of a sudden you end up catching that ball on a dead run. You can usually tell by the reads of outfielders. See, Melky makes a good play. Didn't expect to be out by the wall when that ball was hit.
Here's Michael Young. Michael Young has played 3 infield positions for the Rangers. Played second when A-Rod was at short. When A-Rod left, they moved him to short. And then when they felt that Elvis Andrus was ready, they moved him to third. And he didn't want to go to third. But the team said, we're not trading you, so you're going to have to go to third. And he's actually done a nice job there. Foul back. Won the Gold Glove at shortstop. How many times do you win the Gold Glove and move?
He can get moved. Huh? Alex Rodriguez too. Did he?
Yep, he won the Gold Glove the year before he came to the Yankees.
When you look at over the last 6 seasons, Michael ranks second in the majors with 1,242 hits. I mean, you would never think, because you're not in that market, that this guy would be second in the major leagues in total hits in the past 6 seasons. This is his 10th year. So here's one of the guys that has been through the tough times, kind of the growing pains over the past 4 or 5 years, and hopes to be part of. I mean, there's some good young talent here. You can tell the excitement when this team comes into a city. They're excited to play the game. They know they can win now.
Two-0 Yankees. We're in the third. The 2-2. Breaking ball with no bite in the count, 3-2. And Hank Blalock is on deck. Seven-game homestand for the Yankees. 3 against the Rangers and 4 against the Rays. The 3-2 missed outside. And that's the first walk by Burnett. You see, Blalock's not walking much. He has a .256 average, a .292 on-base percentage. count 1-0.
You hear so much about the new pitching theory here behind Nolan Ryan, and it's fun to see this pitching staff starting to turn around. I mean, their bullpen's been solid. Their starting pitching's been 100% better in the past years. Usually, when things work for one organization, you'll see other organizations try to emulate it. And the big thing was he put a lot of these guys on workout programs. They're expected to throw more pitches. And were you a Nolan Ryan fan growing up, Michael?
Sure.
Yeah.
How could you not be?
I mean, he was something to face. The first time I remember facing him in spring training game was,
runner goes. Foul the back, hit and run was on.
It's one of those guys that you have such a hard time as a hitter going up and they're just having an at bat because it keeps going through your mind. I'm facing Nolan Ryan. I'm facing Nolan Ryan. And I remember in the spring training game, I had made it out and I was walking out there and he kind of caught me by surprise because he said, "How you doing, Paul?" And I was like, "Oh, Mr. Ryan, how are you?" It's just like you didn't expect him to say anything to me at that point. Kind of got me flustered,
Line drive down the right field line. That's trouble. It's a base hit. It'll go into the corner. Playing it out there is Cabrera. Michael Young is going to stop right there at third as the Yankees handle the relay well. So a double for Hank Blalock.
The big thing right there is, Blalock got his hit. Everything's right. Well, Melky goes to the corner. The only thing you have to know right here is you've got to get a clean carom, and you cannot look at second base. Your play is at not second base. You know you're hitting your cutoff man going home. You want to save that run because you're so used as a right fielder to try to whip that guy at second. You see Melky, good job. Knows exactly where to throw the ball without thinking.
There's Nelson Cruz with runners on second and third. You can tell that today Burnett doesn't have a great breaking ball. He doesn't have command of it just yet. Doesn't mean that he won't. He's getting by a lot on fastballs. Sometimes that catches up with you. That one is driven out to deep left field. Damon turns, looks, see ya. A 3-run home run for Nelson Cruz, and Texas leads 3-2.
I'll tell you what, we went through it. Ryan gave me this one in the pregame about his home runs aren't just home runs. And if you'll watch Johnny Damon, he doesn't take more than one step on this ball. He's got that type of power where that ball, everybody in the ballpark knows it's gone right when it's hit. No reason to even run after that. And that gets up into that aisleway. You haven't seen too many of those balls to that part of the park yet.
No, Paul, is dangerous. The hitter knows that you're not getting over the breaking ball no matter how hard you throw.
And that ball right there, that ball even got the inner half of the plate. But you get in a hitter's count, especially as a power hitter, you're looking to drive something.
Line drive, base hit. So David Murphy lines one to right center. Cut off quickly by Gardner.
Michael, you said it. That's the third consecutive hit, and none of them have been bleeders. Every one of those balls has been centered, hit hard, and that's just that running fastball. You kind of lose the sink on it, and it just kind of runs flat across the plate. You see that ball ends up, you see Georgie's glove moving again, but it doesn't have that sinking action. It's just kind of running. Such a difference from the kind of that tailing fastball and the hard sinking fastball, and that's the one that's hard to hit.
Take one more look at that home run by Nelson Cruz.
They turned the sound off. It would have hurt our ears. See that?
That was some ride. Here's Marlon Byrd. Still can't get the breaking ball over.
Got an interesting stat too. Can you believe this, Michael? I was studying some stats today.
That's shocking.
These are the only 2 teams in the American League that have winning records on the road. Every other team, you know, they do well at home. No other teams can figure out how to win on the road.
In fact, there's only 5 teams that have winning records at home and on the road. 2 in the American League, as Paul mentioned, and then National League, Milwaukee, the Dodgers, and the Mets. So 5 out of 30 teams have pulled off that daily double of winning on the road and winning at home.
Cruz over there with a little grin on his face.
And that one is rocketed through the left side of the infield for a base hit. Murphy was going and then actually slid into second. I believe that Canó deked him into thinking that the throw was coming down. So he slid in despite the ball being hit to left field.
Well, again, this is 4 consecutive hitters, and you'll see that ball. I mean, that's just a ball that, again, you see Georgie's glove every pitch missing his target. I'm going to have to get on the phone here with David Cohn and figure out how you can get a ball to sink instead of tail, because right now his ball is just riding high and kind of sailing instead of getting that sinking action.
Here's Davis. All of this with 2 outs.
It's hard to imagine. When you get back to the dugout, you start doing the math.
Doesn't like anybody got hurt, thankfully.
That was a healthy bat toss. Oh boy.
He's got pine tar all over his hands.
It's all right. Lucky, really, nobody got hit there. That bat was all over the place. It's kind of strange. You see a batter, you know, he loses his bat in the stands, and you see that's just a natural colored bat, and then he grabs another one with the black barrel. And that, to me, it used to bother me as a hitter. I always wanted to use the same type of bat every time at the plate.
2-1. That one's driven out to deep center. Gardner back. He's on the track. He makes the play. So Davis bids for an extra base hit, but Gardner covering a lot of ground, hauled it in. A 30-pitch inning for A.J. Burnett. And a nice play by Gardner, and he saved a couple of runs for Burnett. Looked ticketed for extras, but Gardner had other thoughts. Canó. And that's a shot knocked down by Young. What a play by Young. A hot shot sliced off the bat of a left-handed batter, and he's quick enough to knock it down and make the play.
And again, that's one of the big differences what the Rangers are showing this year is their defense. I mean, they're pitching, and their defense are making the plays. I mean, this ball, again, the ball is hit hard, kind of an in-between hop. It's a good carom. Takes his time and throws a strike. Hey, Michael, I watch that on TV, and I think, oh, it's a good play. I tell you what, when you're playing and you hit that ball, you're going crazy inside because you know that it was this a reaction. It's just bad luck as a hitter. That you hit the ball, he gets a glove on it, rolls right to him, and throws you out at first.
Would you say, Paul, that in your career you won 5 world titles? 5. Would you say that you had more aggravation or more joy?
Well, right now, you look back, it's funny because you forget completely about all the strikeouts, all the bad nights, all the booing, everything, and all you remember are the good things. And that's the good thing about leaving the game, how wonderful it was here in New York. But I tell you what, when you're going through it, day in and day out, it eats at you every single day, or me. I mean, some people take it different. I used to look at Tino every night and wonder, Bernie, you just struck out, you're 0 for 5, and you walked out like nothing happened. And the rest of us were banging our heads against the locker. So certain players take it differently, and certain people deal with things differently. But for me, I tell you what, when you hit the ball hard, it was hard enough to hit the ball hard, but when you hit it hard and didn't get what you're supposed to get, as in my mind was a hit, I couldn't rationalize it. It didn't make sense to me.
And the 3-2. Strike 3, Posada down looking. Let's take another look at that play that Michael Young made, the IOTV HD super shot.
This is my point. I mean, you get a ball tailing away from you as Robinson Cano hits it right on the barrel, slaps it the other way. Young gets a glove on it, but the ball kind of sits there for him. Good play, and I tell you again, Michael, those plays look so easy on that super shot. Those things happen so quick out on the field. Did you used to just sit at home after your strikeouts, Michael?
What was that?
Did you just sit home and be miserable after your strikeouts in the big game?
No, not really.
No?
No.
Just moved on?
No, I would be miserable when you would strike out. I would internalize that stuff for some reason. Because I knew I couldn't interview the next day. Shattered bat, a slow ground ball up the middle. Andrus. And Davis tags Matsui on the way by, and that'll do it. So 1, 2, 3, 10-pitch inning for Padilla. And another shattered bat as we go to the 4th. 3-2 Rangers. against A.J. Burnett. And there's a strike. Saltalamacchia struck out in the second inning. You know, people always ask me on the street, Paul, does Paul really eat as much as you make it out to be when he does a game? Well, he actually brought this. I don't know where you got it.
I just got it in the cafeteria, man.
Who can
she said take the whole thing? I didn't want to argue with her, make her feel bad.
So you need milk and cookies about now.
You know what this reminds me of is when you walk, you see Burnett, he gets a strikeout in the meantime, all right, Michael? Yeah, by the way. But you go behind people like in Wendy's or McDonald's and they order like the double cheeseburger with extra mayo and then they order a Diet Coke. So I fire a couple cookies down, but
fat-free
make sure
skim
we get
milk.
the fat-free skim milk.
Unbelievable. That is not set up. That's not an act. He walked in here with a gallon of milk.
That's a half gallon, Mike.
I'm sorry. Here's Andrus, and there's a strike. You know what they say? You can always see something at the ballpark you've never seen before. That I've never seen before. An announcer come in with a half a gallon of milk.
I want to run short.
And he gets plunked, and you wonder.
That's a breaking ball there. Believe me, if you're a pitcher and you're going to hit somebody, you're not going to throw a breaking ball. But again, you said it a couple innings ago. You see, it just kind of gets around that ball, doesn't bring it across. But you said it a couple innings ago, Michael, he has not had good command of that curveball. And you become a one-pitch pitcher without your good curveball and stuff like that. And you're right, you're going to give up some runs, you're going to give up some hits.
Runner goes, and that one goes into center field. And there's the Yankees' first error after 18 games. So that is an error for Posada, who's not throwing the ball that great today.
Well, we saw it in the first inning when Kinsler stole the base, and it's almost like every opportunity they're going to test Jorge Posada. And so far, Georgie looks like, the ball's just sailing on him. Good base running there by picking it up. And that was a steal sign there. Anytime you see, the batter go around and bunt to try to make it harder on the catcher, that's usually kind of a given that it was a steal sign. He didn't go on his own.
Rangers' third stolen base tonight. The Yankees' first error in 19 games. So they hold the all-time record at 18, and that's the way it stays. Burnett, 70 pitches. A high pitch count with one out in the fourth inning.
Both guys. I mean, Padilla on the other end. Both of them have been in trouble in a lot of innings, a lot of pitches. Both managers got to be scratching their head thinking, this game's going to be won in the bullpen.
Strike three. That's a big strikeout for Burnett as Kinsler down looking. Hey, it's time for the New York State Smokers Quit Line Quiz. Derek Jeter has 2,602 career hits. Against which pitcher does he have the most? We'll find that out in the bottom of the inning soon enough. Here's Michael Young against A.J. Burnett. Pitch outside, 1-0.
Well, who's a pitcher that's been in the American League East for the last 14 years or whatever it is?
Wakefield's been around a long time.
I don't know that he's got enough at bats with him because he wasn't a starter all the time, but it seems like he pitches against the Yankees every time he's home.
You start guessing you're going to lose one of us our jobs, and then all likely it'll be me.
Yeah.
They're not getting rid of you.
Yeah, sure.
The kid with the skin belt. The 2-0. Weak hack right there, 2-1.
Again, you wonder if you know, throughout this game that, you know, Burnett is going to find that breaking ball. But you're right. He's come down to almost being a one-pitch pitcher. I mean, you haven't seen him throw that curveball even for an out pitch.
That one is punched into right field. Long run from Melky. He makes the play for the final out of the 4th inning. No runs, no hits, no errors, and 1 man left. We go to the bottom of the 4th, and we answer the age-old question. Got milk? Yeah, Paul does. The bottom of the 4th inning is 3-2 Rangers, and Melky Cabrera takes a pitch outside 1-0. First game of a 3-game set between the Yankees and Texas. And the pitch is outside 2-0. And a 2-1 count. It'll be Cabrera, Gardner, and Jeter. That's 8, 9, and 1. Melky grounded out the second. That was in the second. Way outside. Padilla has thrown 65 pitches as we enter the bottom of the 4th. And the right-hander deals. And a walk to Melky Cabrera.
Again, Padilla can't get in counts where he wants to use the slider either. He's having trouble. Both guys right now, Burnett with the Yankees and Padilla on the other side, are, you know, just trying to find some kind of rhythm, some kind of thing that, you know, they can get some hitters out until they find their breaking ball, until they find that rhythm of you know, getting ahead in the counts.
Here's Brett Gardner, RBI single just off the glove of Davis at first. That was in the second. And the Yankees left 2 runners on in the first and 3 runners on in the second. And Padilla finally had an easy inning in the third, retiring the Yankees in order 1, 2, 3. Shows bunt, takes a strike.
There's that slow curveball. I mean, that's usually a strike one pitch. We talked about it early in the game. It's something to kind of break up the rhythm of fastball after fastball in the hitter's eye. Fastball away.
And again showing bunt, takes pitch low.
You see Padilla kind of rush that pitch every once in a while. You know, you see that, especially with Gardner's speed. You see that guy going to bunt, and you kind of hurry up your delivery, kind of overthrow it. That ball that was kind of sinking away, you kind of overthrew it, threw it inside.
Well, he's intent on bunting, and he gets it down. Padilla fields, and they just make the play at first. They'll score to sack, moving Melky to 7. Let's take a look at the answer to the New York State Smokers Quit Line quiz. Derek Jeter has 2,602 career hits. Against which pitcher does he have the most? Paulie's guessing somebody in the American League East. Let's see what the answer is. Tim Wakefield.
See, you gave the answer away, Mike.
See, I could lose my job now. 31 regular season hits.
You come to Cincy, we'll hang out on the deck. Huh?
Still can't get in the house, huh?
That's right. We'll do the post scene together out there.
So, tying runs at second base. Here's Jeter. Jeter 2 for 2 with a 16-game hitting streak. The count 1-0. Watching him up here, you've watched him for 3+ innings now. What would be your plan against Padilla going into the batter's box?
Well, definitely. I'm looking for the ball. I mean, a fastball. He hasn't been able to throw anything other than a fastball for a strike, and I'm looking out over the plate because he's having trouble throwing that left-hander, the ball into the left-handers for a strike inside. And it seems like everything's kind of tailing into the righty. There, that's that pitch away to a righty into a lefty that he's having trouble controlling. So you almost take that away. If he can make 3 of those in a row, which he hasn't all night, he's going to get you out. Chances are that you're going to get a fastball out over the plate. And for me, if I was hitting left center was where I wanted to take that ball, so I'd be looking to hit that ball to left center. Now, gee, again, the way his ball's moving, this should match up well for him because he likes to inside out the ball. And look for a ball, kind of tailing in on him and fight it off to right field.
And the count 3-0. He's walked 3, and he's hit a batter. Johnny Damon has 2 of those walks.
I think Padilla thinks that possibly Melky's picking up the signals or something like that, and pitchers really get involved with that sometimes. And there's not a lot of guys that do it, but there are some. You see Padilla staring back there. The last thing you want as a pitcher is a guy on second base, tipping pitches to the hitter.
You don't like to be told, right?
No, I hated it because who's to say they could throw it where they're supposed to?
The 3-0. Right down the middle. And another strike.
Again, Jeets almost looks like he's kind of bailing to look inside. He gets that fastball away. But if you're ahead in the count and you look in, that's what you do. You take that ball away because you can't handle it. You're not set up to hit. Now you got to get back into what you do best. And in Derek Jeter's case, that's hit the ball to right center.
And the pitch. He does walk him. 3-0, 3-2, ball 4. And here comes Mike Maddox. Between last night and tonight, the Yankees have 15 walks, and that was always a staple of your teams, Paul. The Yankee championship teams. High on base percentage, and you guys never gave the pitcher a break.
Well, I tell you what, from a fan's point of view, it might be, make for a longer game and this and that, but I tell you what, it makes pitchers work. It makes the other teams make plays because you're constantly going to have people on base. And you can steal those extra runs. You don't always have to work that big inning. You're always going to have a lot of opportunities throughout the lineup, to score 1, 2 runs at a time. And that's how you bury people. And when you have good pitching and good defense, a couple of those innings, all of a sudden, you put the game out of reach.
Well, they break up the conference on the mound, and here's Johnny Damon. Good speed on the bases for the Yankees. Cabrera at second. Jeter is at first. Damon's walked twice. And a strike. Line drive, base hit, right center field. Melky Cabrera rounds third. He's coming home. Jeter goes to third. Throw is cut off. It's an RBI single for Damon, and the Yankees have tied the score at 3.
You get enough of these opportunities, and if you look at Padilla now, I mean, you just look worn out as a pitcher, tired, and you make a mistake. Johnny Damon gets out over the plate, hooks this ball. See the catcher going down on his knees like he was going to have to block it. Johnny Damon went down out and hooked it. Right center field. But Bird does a good job here. Makes a strong throw to third. It keeps it head high so it can be cut. Keeps Johnny Damon at first base. But again, Padilla, you can tell by looking at him. I mean, it looks like he's been through a fight. I mean, he's a lot of big pitches, a lot of runners, a lot of long counts. In a sense, it is like a fight. You're almost wearing down the guy till he makes a big, big mistake.
Here's Teixeira. He's 0 for 1, hit by a pitch. Still has a 14-game hitting streak working. Jeter's at third with 1 out. Damon at first, a threat to run. And the pitch. And again, Teixeira gets hit. And Teixeira's ticked off. And he just said, get the ball over the plate. And Jared Saltalamacchia talking with Teixeira. Now Joe Girardi is going to intercept Teixeira just so nothing happens. That's the second time Teixeira's been plunked. You talk to a lot of players, Paul, and even if it's not on purpose, players get ticked off if you can't control the pitch.
Well, the first one was iffy. This ball right here, I mean, that's just a flat out. You know what the intent was. You know what. And I think if you're Joe Girardi, you run out there and you say, hey, you know what? You all right? That's the big thing. Okay, you all right? All right, we'll take care of it. Don't worry about it. Might not be tonight. Might be tomorrow.
But let me ask you, Paul, why would he do that on purpose? Alex Rodriguez is coming up.
Well, you know, ex-teammates, whatever. I don't know. Sometimes people just don't get along with other people.
Bases loaded for A-Rod. Swing and a miss.
And I tell you, this as a teammate, this is the one time that you just go up and you want to dig in and you really, really want to put a hurting on this guy, because then you know he didn't get away with something. I mean,
so you're looking to hit the ball out here?
Well, you're just looking to just put a big number up. I mean, you want to drive a ball in the gap. You want to keep this thing going and just absolutely run up some runs on this guy for doing that.
Count 0-2 now on Alex. Game is tied at 3. Yankees looking to break it open. Bases loaded, 1 man out. The cleanup hitter Alex Rodriguez up. He's up with the bases loaded earlier in the game and grounded back to Padilla. The 0-2. Dribble foul. Canó is on deck. Derek Holland, who also starts for the Rangers, is warming in their bullpen. Padilla taking a while, and A-Rod steps out. Padilla is working from the full windup with Jeter at third, Damon at second, Teixeira at first. 1 man out. Game tied at 3. The righty deals. Just missed outside. Padilla wanted that one.
Again, the inning's been pretty consistent of not giving this side of the plate. Ball looks like it's a little away. Or way away.
And the pitch. This could be two. There's one. On to first. Not in time. And Teixeira went in really hard at second. That's how you get back as the Yankees score a run, and they lead 4-3. Clean, but hard, and that stopped the double play.
Believe me, you have some emotion when you've been over there. The only thing that could have been perfect right here, if Padilla would have gone over and covered first base on the relay, and then you get to run right by him in case you need to say something else. But you see, you're right, Michael. Teixeira went in hard.
How about this crowd? They gave him a standing ovation. And they're also giving a standing ovation for Derek Jeter because he reached 1,500 runs scored. I think it's more for Jeter than it is for Teixeira, but Jeter's not going to tip any caps. He's fourth on the Yankees all-time list. Pretty impressive company. Baseball's not a physical sport. When you get ticked off, there are very few times that you could physically take your emotions out. That's one of them that Teixeira did.
You almost hope when you're running there, too, you're going to get an opportunity or absolutely, maybe a play at the plate, anything where you can take some emotion out. But, again, you did the smart thing. You ran to first base.
Fouled away.
Good pitch to hit there. Robbie didn't center it.
A-Rod does get a ribby because of the fielder's choice.
You see that ball's right down Broadway right there. Robbie was right on it. Just fouled it back.
And the pitch. Fights it off and fouls it off. Placement's jammed again tonight. Definitely about 45,000 in. How about that? At shortstop, 1,500 plus runs and 1,500 plus games. Those are short. Only 4 guys have done it. Derek Jeter's number 4. Damon's at third. A-Rod is at first. 2 men out. Canó at the plate. And the count 2-2.
If you're the Yankees, you feel like you almost let a guy off the hook if he only gives up a run and had bases loaded and 1 out. So this is a big at bat for Robinson Cano here. Try to keep this thing going.
Two. Hit sharply and through for a base hit. Damon scores. Rodriguez moves to second. An RBI single for Canó. And the Yankees lead 5-3. And that's going to be it for Vicente Padilla. So Ron Washington takes the long, slow walk out to the mound. And he's going to take Padilla with him. So he's going to call to his bullpen. Padilla's night is done. He comes off the DL, and he leaves trailing 5-3. And he's hurt some feelings as well. We'll keep an eye out for payback.
stadium, what is it? I mean, a little thing. I'm not talking about the whole front lawn or something.
Let me think about it. This call to the bullpen brought to you by AT&T. Your world delivered. I'd like a piece of the facade.
Piece of the facade?
How about you? See Derek Holland's numbers.
And from the outside, it'd be nice to just have a seat or something. From the inside, obviously, something in your locker would be kind of cool. Maybe my chair that I used to hang out in my locker or something.
Posada pops it up. And Davis gives it a look. It's out of play. Would you like to get the whole locker?
I don't know. I can't even get a bat out at home. What am I going to do with a locker? Well, those things are pretty big. What's the most valued thing from the old stadium?
I don't know.
Foul pole, maybe? Or somebody bought a foul pole there.
Yeah, the foul pole's probably pretty. I think the facade is too. Pieces of the facade. That facade's not for sale. Maybe in about 80 years. The 0-1. There's a strike going to. Derek Jeter wanted to buy the bat that's outside the ballpark.
Yeah, I heard that.
And they're going to keep it right there. And the 0-2 pitch. Fights it off and fouls it off.
See Holland, kind of that sidearm lefty delivery. He's really tough on lefties. Right-handers definitely get a better look at it.
I wasn't going to tell you, but I have something coming for Christmas.
Oh, was that right? You got me a Christmas present?
I got you the water cooler.
Oh, that's nice.
The 0-2, it's inside.
I haven't heard that one before, right?
It's a little beaten up, but I thought you'd like it.
It was tough love, the water cooler tonight, Mike.
I'm sure it remembers you fondly. A-Rod's at second, Canó is at first. Yankees lead 5-3. 3 runs already in here in the fourth. Holland deals. Nice block there by Saltalamacchia.
Can you see that slinging lefty? You're right, Michael. Moved over.
Two. Grounded left side through for a base hit. Alex Rodriguez rounds third. He will score. It's an RBI single for Posada. And the Yankees now lead 6-3. And they are making Texas pay for hitting Mark Teixeira.
That's what you try to do. You just try to put up big numbers because that's what really bothers pitchers are all those earned runs that it cost him. Georgie, again, he had a good at-bat from the left side earlier in the game. Got a good at-bat from the right side here. And you see Alex Rodriguez was still a question mark. Does everything feel well? Makes that turn around third base. Runs pretty well. Almost trips and falls when the umpire hands him the bat. I don't know that I've seen that before you score.
Matsui, the 9th batter to come to the plate. And there's a strike. Holland looks like he'd be tough on lefties.
Yeah, again, he just slings the ball. He's got that delivery. It's way out. From a left-handed hitter, your first movement is to see the ball. And when you open up to see a guy throwing sidearm, you've given away the whole outside part of the plate.
That one's driven deep to right center. Going back, Cruz on the track, at the wall. See ya! A 3-run home run for Hideki Matsui. And the Yankees have opened it up. They lead 9-3.
again, if you open up at all against a lefty, this inside pitch looks right down the middle, which that one was. And Matsui's so good at opening that front hip and turning on that ball from left-handers. I'll tell you what this has done. It's going to give the Yankees an opportunity if they want to do something. They've got a lead tonight.
Teixeira screaming, that's what I'm talking about. Here's Melky Cabrera. Well, payback is a pitch that goes into the bullpen in right center field. And we talked about in the open of the show about a special team. Special teams pick up their teammates, especially if one of their teammates is ticked off, and the Yankees have certainly done that for Teixeira.
You know, I mean, you look at A-Rod, just almost ask some questions. You know, do you have a problem with this guy? Did something happen when you were there? I mean, again, the first one was iffy. The second one was pretty much 100% guaranteed what the mindset was.
Dribbled slowly out to second, and that'll do it. But the Yankees put a 7 spot on the board in the 4th inning. Vicente Padilla hit Teixeira, and then the Yankees just started the hit. Burnett. Now, just to set things up, on the Lexus scoreboard, it's 9-3 Yankees. No one was warned. So that almost leaves a bullet in A.J. Burnett's chamber. But he wants to get through the 5th inning so he can get a victory. And you still have 2 games remaining, and sometimes leaving that bullet in the chamber is more effective than actually firing.
I don't know. I know one thing, as a Texas Ranger hitter right now, it's an uncomfortable time to go up and hit, especially if nobody's out, nobody's on, and there's 2 outs. Or
high fly ball left field. Damon. And there's one away. So the Yankees sent 10 batters to the plate in the 4th inning, and they score 7 runs on 4 hits. No errors and nobody left. And there's a strike. The line on Padilla is done. 7 innings. Well, check that. 3 2/3 innings. 7 hits, 7 runs. 1 strikeout, 4 walks, and 2 hit batters. Breaking ball misses. He's been missing with that all night. The count 1-1. goes up and in. Now he gets warned, and the Rangers get warned, and the Yankees get warned. So Doug Eddings does the right job there. He allowed the Yankees to get back, although nobody got hit, and Burnett goes up and in. So we'll see if the Yankees consider that even.
You know, if you're Cruz right here, and this was a fastball away, so you knew basically what was going to happen. But if you're Cruz, you're not mad at Burnett. Who are you mad at? You're mad at your own pitcher. I mean, it was too obvious on what Padilla did.
You might remember this guy. I'm sorry, but the name is slipping from me. A guy in the Chicago White Sox always used to headhunt a young pitcher, and he would throw at people, and the White Sox used to get thrown at all the time. And finally, Tim Raines and Frank Thomas took this guy up against the wall in the clubhouse. All right, this has to stop because one of us is going to get hurt, and that's how you police it. As Nelson Cruz goes down on strikes.
Tell you what, Nelson Cruz is as hot as anybody in baseball. You see that front hip coming out, and he just hit a home run the time before. He just got a pitch up and in. I don't care how good a hitter is. If you think, you know, this guy's doing it again, you have a tendency to give in that front hip. You just got to throw that bat away, remember what happened, and get back to what you did the first time up, and that's stay in there and hit the ball out of the ballpark.
So 2 away here in the 5th. And that one's popped up. Damon is there, and Damon puts it away. A 1-2-3 inning for A.J. Burnett. An official ball game with rain in the forecast. We played 4.5. We are halfway through, and the Yankees lead 9-3. The man on the moon has a good view of this game all the way down in the Bronx. Yankees lead 9-3 as we go to the bottom of the 5th, and Brett Gardner leads off against Holland. And the pitch is low and away.
This is an important road trip for Texas because, you know, they've played so much, and now they're getting, you know, the notoriety of being the best one of the better teams in the American League. But, I mean,
Gardner hits one deep to right center field. Giving chase is Cruz on the run, and he makes the play right near the warning track for the first out. The center fielder Bird was shaded toward left center, so Cruz had to make that play close to center field.
And Gardner, he's not going to make his money in the air, but again, he drives his ball pretty well. Cruz gets a good jump on it. Calling Bird off. Back to my point, Michael, I mean, Texas comes in here to New York, and then they go to Boston, so it's a tough road trip. I mean, you really still have a question mark on what this team is going to be. I mean, they're 13-3 against the West so far this year. That's where all their wins are coming intact, and the West is fairly weak. So you've got to figure, you know, what's this organization want? Do they want to just try to win this division? Or are they intent on trying to win a division and be able to compete at the playoff level, where you're going to have to beat teams like Boston and the Yankees and then Tampa Bay? And so do you realize as an organization, are you that good, or are you just, you know, in a bad division where, you know, you're making hay by beating teams in your own division?
Lexus scoreboard 9-3, Yankees lead. You'll take winning a bad division, just getting into the playoffs, and then find out where you are at that point.
Yeah, but I mean, my point is, if the Yankees played for that and just to get to the playoffs, that's a complete failure. To get to the playoffs and know you have no chance to win, that's a failure. I mean, is that okay for other organizations? I guess if you haven't been in the playoffs for a long time, it probably is.
Line drive to right field. Jeter continues to hit his third single of the night.
I tell you what, when Jeter goes through these streaks, you can tell. I mean, he just rattle off 15-20 hits in a week, and it's just it's an amazing thing when he gets going like this, because he doesn't shy away from what he does, and that's, you know, slap the ball to right field. He doesn't get caught into trying to hit home runs or trying to do too much. Uses his speed. You know, you saw what, you know, his thing was, and that's 1,500 runs scored so far in his career. I mean, that's what he does. He gets up and he gets on base and he scores runs.
Jeter's 5th 3-hit game of the year. And the pitch to Damon is outside. Now, in answer to your question, though, about, you know, going to the playoffs with no chance to win, everybody has a chance to win if a couple pitchers get hot.
You're right. And I'm not saying the Texas Rangers aren't a good team. They have some good players. I mean, they've got some guys at the organization they're going to build around, and their pitching's better. Nolan Ryan has put in, you know, some things that are going to change his pitching staff to probably end up being a strength on this team, and that's never been the case. It's always been an offensive-minded team. So it's my question is, do you go, you know, in the middle of the season and bring in some guys that can help you possibly win it all in a year, or are you on a slow progress to try to, you know, become a power in the Western Division?
And the interesting thing is, the owner of the Rangers, Tom Hicks, announced last week that he's going to sell the team. He wants to keep controlling interest in the Dallas Stars of the NHL, but he's looking for a partner with the Texas Rangers, and he will give up controlling interest.
And have they ever recovered really from the A-Rod contract and Hicks going out and doing that?
Well, you know what? They're out from under that now, because once A-Rod opted out, then they were done with the payments for that. Line drive foul. Well, they didn't exactly know what they wanted to do. Did they want to spend their way to winning, or then once they got A-Rod, they realized, well, that was so much money committed to him, they couldn't spend it on other people. So now it's kind of back to the old days where they're trying to build from within, and you see where they are right now at 4.5 ahead of the Angels. And there's 2 away.
You know that, you know, the Angels are a pretty good, solid organization, so they're going to make a run, and they're going to be the team that you're going to have to beat out there. But, you know, when you play a team 18 times within a year, I mean, if you beat them head-to-head, chances are you're going to win that division. And coming into this year, I didn't know, but it looks like, you know, the wild card could possibly come from the East. You wouldn't think that, because, you know, when you're playing that much within your division, as strong as the American League East is, but all of a sudden the Yankees and Boston have come to the forefront.
Teixeira grounds one to Michael Young, who fires across the diamond, a nice backhanded scoop. by Davis, and that'll do it here in the 5th inning for the Yankees. No runs, a hit, no errors. One man left on base. Nice play by Michael Young. Sidearm from foul territory, and a better play by Chris Davis on the backhanded scoop. Let's go to the 6th. Against A.J. Burnett. The Yankees lead this one 9-3. They trailed 3-2, but they scored a 7 spot in the 4th inning to take the lead. High fly ball, center field. Brett Gardner waves off Cabrera. 1 pitch, 1 out.
You know, that simple play right there, Melky Cabrera did the right thing. I mean, when the center fielder calls you off, veer off and get completely out of the way. There's nothing worse than watching a guy get called off and then run up and just stand next to somebody. Because if you're about to catch that ball, you can hear footsteps. If you hear the voice, get out of the way, let the center fielder make the play.
Is that what you did with Bernie?
Yeah, I was always running over there hoping he'd call it quick so I didn't have to run any farther, right? But you see right here, I mean, instead of just running over there and standing, you see Melky just gets completely out of the way, and that takes all the indecision out of that play for Gardner.
1-0. Foul back. A.J. Burnett's big inning was the 30-pitch 3rd inning. And that's when he allowed 3 runs. He's up to 92 pitches right now here in the 6th. Driven out to left field, Johnny Damon on his horse, going back, reaching up, making the play, 2 outs.
We talked about Chris Davis and how he strikes out so much, but he's hit some balls hard today. Gardner made a great play on him earlier in the game. Damon makes a good play here.
Here's Saltalamacchia. Hot shot up the middle, a base hit. So that breaks a string of 7 in a row. Yankees Baseball on Yes is brought to you in part by your tri-state area Audi dealers. Audi, the official luxury vehicle of the New York Yankees. Here's Elvis Andrus. There's a ground ball to Jeter. And they go the short way for the force, and that's going to do it. So A.J. Burnett has worked 6. He has a 9-3 lead as we go to the bottom of the inning. A fresh brewed cup of coffee. Yes, we get our Green Mountain K-Cup coffee system from the same people who bring us our office supplies. WB Mason. Who but? And the right has a nice cup of coffee. And Paul's got the milk to go along with it. 9-10-1 for the Yanks and 3-7-0 for the Texas Rangers as we go to the bottom of the 6th inning. And it's Warner Madrigal taking over. This will be his 8th game. 7 innings previously, 5 hits, 6 walks, and 3 strikeouts. So he'll face Alex Rodriguez, Robinson Canó, and Jorge Posada here in the 6th. Yankees looking to go 10 games over 500 for the first time all year. And if you heard Gordon Damer on our pregame show, he said they didn't get 10 games over for the first time last year until their 100th game. Last year they ended up out of the playoffs, just 89 wins.
It's funny how quick this has happened, almost to the day that Alex Rodriguez got back in the lineup. It's just a kind of, we were talking a few weeks ago, Michael, when I was here, and I remember we were saying, you know, what is the personality of this team? How is it going to win? What, all of a sudden, it's just like everybody just, you know, the light switch went on. The pitching's been better. The offense has been great. The defense has been good. Oh, Michael, the guy just took one off the head. I looked down. Have you seen that Coors commercial where it's like in slow motion and the guy moves the can, he gets hit? That guy got hit right in the head.
It seems like he's okay.
Yeah, he doesn't have much padding up there either.
Oh, it looks like it cut him a little bit. Boy, you still have the eagle eye. How could you see that from up here?
I don't know. That wasn't good.
Missed outside. Yankees got 10 games over 500 last year on July 22nd. And the count 3-2. And the payoff, way outside. So Alex walks.
What do you go home and tell your kids after that play over there? I almost got a foul ball, and all I got was a knot on my head.
Well, we have some medical attention over there right now. Hope he's okay.
I saw him shaking his head. He was all right.
Here's Robinson Canó. 1 for 3. Big RBI last time up. And that's the hit that knocked Padilla out of the game. Line drive. Foul.
Robbie's had some good at-bats tonight. I mean, he's hit the ball. Young made a great play on him earlier from a ball away. That ball's in. He pulls. You can tell when Robbie starts hitting balls to all fields that he's just getting ready to go through another one of those really, really hot streaks.
Yankees have 9 runs, but they haven't done it in a loud way. 9 of their 10 hits have been singles, but the one that wasn't was a home run by Matsui, a 3-run shot. Runner goes, and that one is grounded past the diving Davis and into right field. A-Rod goes to third, a single for Canó, and that might tick the Rangers off. Yankees leading 9-3 and sending the runner.
Again, Robbie Canó, look at this ball down and away, stays with it. Anytime that first baseman's holding that runner on, you got a better opportunity as a left-hander. That's Rodriguez almost practicing his wheels, trying to get that body in 100% shape.
So first and third, nobody out for Posada. Jorge 2 for 3. Canó with 2 hits tonight, his 23rd multi-hit game of the year. And the count 2-0. A-Rod at third. Canó at first. And they'll both score. See ya! A long 3-run home run for Jorge Posada. And the Yankees now lead 12-3.
Tell you, Michael, we've talked about it. Will we see an upper deck home run? And I think this is about as close as we've seen all year. This ball had the height, everything. It looked like it just fell short at the end. I think I got to agree that, I mean, that ball was close. That ball was close going in the upper deck. I think that on a good hot summer night, we might end up seeing one.
Well, in the Philly series, Paul, Teixeira hit one in the sweet level underneath the upper deck. So it's getting close. As you said, the hotter it gets, the farther the ball travels. So we could see something in the upper deck.
Georgie's had some real good at-bats tonight, both right-handed and lefty. That had that that high. I mean, it's just a great swing, just good backspin, everything. That ball really traveled.
There's a strike to Matsui.
Ahead in the count, Georgie looking to just unload on one. Gets a good pitch to hit. About as good as it gets right there.
As Matsui goes down swinging. Does that have a different feel when you hit a ball like that?
I was just going to say, even in slow motion, that ball right off the bat, there's no question as a hitter. You know you got it. You know the trajectory. You know everything's going right. Those are the ones you get to enjoy because you know the outfielder isn't even going to move. And this has ended up just being a great night for the Yankees. I mean, they kind of got tested. And then Burnett, had that one inning where he gave up some runs, and then that kind of was an awakening with the Teixeira thing. The next thing you know, you put together a big offensive night. Burnett's kind of the last couple innings got things together. He hadn't had his greatest stuff, but he's pitched well enough to allow his team to have a big night. And who cares? Who cares how many runs you give up if you get a win?
Canó 0-2 on Melky Cabrera. Well, the Yankees with 12 runs tonight. That is a season high. We're only in the 6th inning. So 2 in the 2nd, 7 in the 4th, and now 3 here in the 6th. Adds up to 12. The 1-2. Fouled away.
This is important, though, when you get a lead like this as a hitter, that you don't just give away at bats. I mean, you still go up there, have your at bats. Keep your rhythm. You got too many good things happening in this lineup. Guys need to keep battling to have those good at bats every time up, and you're going to put away some numbers just like that. Good at bat by Melky Cabrera.
Melky had his 8-game hitting streak snapped last night in Cleveland, but starts another one there with that single.
It looks like a little slider or something kind of hung out over the plate. Melky put himself in a position to drive the ball to right field.
And Mike Maddox again with a talk with his pitcher, this time Warner Madrigal. Tonight after the postgame on Yes, don't miss the Emmy Award-winning Yankees on Deck. Let's see part 2 of the exclusive tour of the new Yankee Stadium. It's Yankees on Deck tonight after the postgame only on Yes. There's Brett Gardner. And the count 1-0. Strike. Gardner, RBI single in the 2nd, sack bunt in the 4th, and then a fly ball to deep right center in the 5th. Count 2-1. And the pitch. Missed again. Count 3-1. Gardner's a better hitter when there are runners on base. His average goes up to .318 with a home run and 8 runs batted in. Derek Jeter's on deck. 3-2. Is it hard not to give away at bats when you're up by 9 now?
It can be, but it's so early in the year now that everybody is so intent on trying to put their numbers together for the year. And that's what happens when you're in a close game. You don't worry about things like that because you know your intensity is going to be there. In games like these, sometimes your mind starts wandering a little bit, and you can get in trouble.
Well, time for another look at tonight's Toyota text ball. Once again, the question prior to Mark Teixeira and Alex Rodriguez, who made up the Yankees' best corner infield duo in the last 40 years? You've been voting at 58-7-7-2, and how'd you vote? 53% 53%. 53%. 53%. 53%. 53%. 53%. 53%. 53%. 53%. 53%. 53%. 53%. 53%. 53%. 53%. 53%. 53%. 53%. 53%. 53%. 53%. 53%. 53%. 53%. 53%. 53%. 53%. 53%. 53%. 53%. 53%. 53%. 53%. 53%. 53%. 53%. 53%. 53%. 53%. 53%. 53%. 53%. 53%. 53%. 53%. 53%. 53%. 53%. 53%. 53%. 53%. 53%. 53%. 53%. 53%. 53%. 53%. 53%. 53%. 53%. 53%. 53%. 53%. 53%. 53%. 53%. 53%. 53%. 53%. 53%. 53%. 53%. 53%. 53%. 53%. 53%. 53%. 53%. 53%. 53%. 53%. 53%. 53%. 53%. 53%. 53%. 53%. 53%. 53%. 53%. 53%. 53%. 53%. 53%. 53%. 53 Boy, Mattingly and Pack's got no love.
Wow. I'm going to text Cap. Wait till he hears this.
Jeter fouls it back. Jeter has his average up to 321 with 3 more hits tonight and a walk. Look at the on-base percentage closing in on 400. And strike. Chris Benson warming for the Rangers in their bullpen. Chris, former starter, Orioles and Mets. Bounced around a bit from arm problems. Fouled away. In 8 of their last 9 games, the Yankees have had 10 or more hits. And tonight they have 13. Easier to manage that way. And the 0-2. Punched out toward Davis. They go to second one. On to first. Not in time. So the force at second is a 3-6. Moving to third is Cabrera.
Again, everything defensively went right. Derek Jeter's just too quick out of the box. You see Cheaty's Canó with his swing is almost out of the box as he's swinging. So that's why he gets so many infield hits. He hustles down to first.
Here's Johnny Damon, 1 for 2 with 2 walks. And a strike from Madrigal.
Little change up. Haven't seen too many change ups from either side tonight. Both starters got most of their outs, most of their hits with fastballs.
And the count 0-2.
This is, I'm sure, as an umpire too, becomes a tough time where that corner doesn't get a little wider.
Along with Paul O'Neill, I'm Michael Kay. You're watching Yankees baseball here on the Yes Network. Thanks for joining us on this Tuesday evening. It's all Yankees right now, 12-3, bottom of the 6th. That one fouled away. .34 pitches already for Madrigal in this inning. And he is laboring. The count 1-2. Yankees pinned the first home series loss on the Rangers last week in Texas, taking 2 out of 3. The Rangers would love to return the favor here in the Bronx, but they have not gotten off to a good start in the series. And the 1-2. 2-2. The 2-2. Well, Damon's not giving up the at-bat. Right in on the fist, popped up behind the plate. Saltalamacchia makes the play for the final out of the 6th. But the Yankees get 3 runs on 3 hits, and they leave 2. The big blow, the long 3-run home run by Jorge Posada. His 7th home run of the year. It gives the Yankees a 12-3 lead. Burnett has thrown 96 pitches, still on the mound. Kinsler leads off and pitches a strike. Burnett trying to pick up his 4th win of the year. Yankees have some action in the bullpen. They'd like to get Burnett through this 7th inning. In fact, the Yankee starters have been giving the team a chance to win. They've gone at least 5 innings in 19 of their last 21 starts. And one of those starts was a 2/3 of an inning Jabba lasted after he got hit on the knee. And another one was Jabba's last start in Texas when he only was able to go 4 innings. Otherwise, every starter's gone at least 5. Kinsler is 1 for 3. And Burnett deals. That one's driven deep to center field. Gardner back. He's on the track. He'll make the play for the first out. "100 pitches for Burnett, 63 strikes. You know, it's weird. You say that batters should never give up at bats. And they always tell pitchers, you know, have a big lead, throw strikes. Well, he shouldn't give up at bats either because he doesn't want to give up more on runs.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like you're throwing strikes right down the middle. You're still trying to make your pitches. But for me as a hitter, it's so hard to, you know, you give away a couple of bats and then you get frustrated mentally, and then the next day, you know, it kind of leads into something bad. It's just, I guess it sounds, how could you ever give it a bat away in the major leagues? But it happens over the long course of the year. Sometimes, you know, your thought processes aren't right, your intensity, whatever. You lose it for, you know, certain times. And you know, the guys obviously that can go up there day in and day out and give themselves a good chance 4 or 5 days. And I think Derek Jeter is one of the guys I look at in my career. Don Mattingly was one of them that time and time again looked like they were completely 100% into their at-bats. And that's why they've had so, you know, both of those guys had so much success.
Omar Vizquel. Pinch runs for Michael Young. There's a strike. So that's kind of running up the white flag there by Ron Washington, taking out Michael Young there in the 7th. Blalock fouls it away.
And here's a guy, Omar Vizquel, that was, you know, a Gold Glover, part of some organizations that have been to the playoffs, the World Series, and here he is, you know, in a different role, but happy to still be playing baseball. I mean, he grew up playing baseball. Baseball has been his life. So, you know, so what if you're not the star shortstop anymore? You're still part of a team, and you're still playing a game that you love. 42
years old, and he had options. A lot of people wanted to hire him to do television broadcasting. They think that he'd be great at that, but it's hard to take the uniform off. One, 2. Breaking ball low and inside, 2-2. Swing and a miss.
You see Burnett with that. I mean, still has good movement, still throwing 95 miles an hour, but again, it's stuck with that fastball. And that ball right there, with that had that down-tailing sink to it. And that's the pitch to a left-handed hitter. Very difficult to stay with. He's become much more in rhythm with his pitches. Just seems like he's gotten away from even trying to get to that curveball. He's just going to finish out his outing, throwing good fastballs for strikes.
There's a strike. 1-1. There's a breaking ball that worked, and the count 1-2.
You know, it's funny here. You're getting ready to close out the 7th inning. You've only given up 3 runs, and through all the trouble that he went through early in the game, and I mean, you would definitely write this down and say this is a game that you know, I battled through not having my greatest control, didn't have my good curveball, kind of lost my fastball for 1 inning, got it over the middle of the plate, gave up a big home run, but all of a sudden he's grinding this thing out. David Cone would love this outing. I hope he's watching.
And there's a ground ball on a curveball, and Teixeira takes it, and that's going to do it. And that will probably do it for Teixeira as he goes 7. No runs, a hit, no errors, and 1 man left at the end of 6.5. Time for the 7th inning stretch here at the stadium. Yankees lead 12-3, but stay right. And there's a new pitcher for the Texas Rangers. It's Chris Benson. A new third baseman as well. Omar Vizquel takes over for Michael Young. So the Yankees looking to start this homestand off in proper fashion. They have 2 more games against Texas, then 4 against Tampa Bay. You see the numbers on Benson. Not very good. 30 hits in 19 innings. Wow. 9 walks and 10 strikeouts. So 39 base runners in 19 innings. And he will deal to Mark Teixeira. There's a strike. That's not Teixeira. Romero Pena pinch hitting for Teixeira. And there's a strike. So the count 0-2.
I remember facing Chris Benson in spring training one year where I thought, man, this guy, really, really good stuff. Had a really good curveball, threw hard. Had some injury problems over the years, and you know he's not the same pitcher, obviously. I mean, he was a #1 starter back then.
Mm-hmm.
Who you got, Michael? You got the Lakers, or you got the Magic?
I can't see the Lakers losing.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You didn't go to that Cleveland game when you were up there, did you?
No, I got in. I got in after the game. A lot of players did.
I saw a couple of them on TV. I had tickets to Game 7. My son was all ready. Didn't quite make it back, I guess.
So you would have gone to Game 7, and the Yankees would have been playing right across the street.
I know.
You would have been able to do
strange.
that. Yeah.
I think Flip would have let me work the game, maybe, and then snuck over.
Yeah, I'm sure he would have.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would have let Human Clarity do the game. I would have gone to the basketball game. And the 2-2. High fly ball, shallow left. David Murphy's there. One away. Well, fans, celebrate the inaugural season of Yankee Stadium this Sunday, June 7th, when the Yankees take on the Rays. The first 18,000 fans in attendance are going to receive a Yankees water bottle, courtesy of Zales. For tickets, log on to Yankees.com. Visit the Yankee Stadium ticket window. Yankees clubhouse shops, or call Ticketmaster at 877-469-9849. Who do you like in that series?
Yeah, I just don't think that you know, Howard will obviously be able to dominate against the big guys with the Lakers, and Kobe Bryant. I mean, it's so fun to watch great players, and you saw it in the LeBron thing. Just see great players in those short series. Exactly how much impact they have in those short series. That was what was fun to watch.
Baroa pinch hitting for Rodriguez, and he taps a slow one to second base. Now, speaking of that, something happened in that last Magic Cavs game that I thought of you. In baseball, there's no shaking of hands to the opponent when you lose. So LeBron didn't want to do it. He said, I can't play hard against somebody than shake hands with them. What's your thoughts on that?
It's funny because when you showed that picture of me on the field before the game talking to Jeter and Posada, that's what we were talking about.
Really?
And I said the funny thing was, you remember when Little League and you'd go and you'd have to shake hands with the guys who just beat you, and you had tears welling up, and so you're looking at the pitcher like, I hate you and stuff like that.
Right.
But you're right, you don't have to do it in baseball because it's day in and day out. Every single game you don't walk across the field, but that is a strange thing. And I tell you what's even more weird, and I used to go visit some guys I knew that were on the tennis tour, and you'd see Pete Sampras and Agassi after finals sit there talking in the same locker room. They're in the same locker rooms together. They just walked off the same court. That to me was really, really strange.
Mm-hmm. But since it's done in basketball, at least in the final game of the series, the fact that he didn't do it kind of comes off as odd.
Well, I guess when you're LeBron and you do anything out of the ordinary, then obviously it's a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if it was another player, sure, you probably wouldn't hear much about it.
There's a ground ball to second base, so a strong inning for Benson as he retires Canó and gets the Yankees in order. 1, 2, 3. 7 in the books here at the new house in the Bronx. Yankees on their way to another win. They lead 12-3 as we go to the 8th. The Yankee season on yes. We're allowing you to vote along with the two of us here in the booth for the Chevy player of the game. Text your vote to 58772. Tonight's candidates are number 1, A.J. Burnett, number 2, Jorge Posada, number 3, Hideki Matsui, and number 4, Derek Jeter. Vote now. Make your voice heard. Standard text messaging rates apply.
Can I vote? Are we allowed to vote for this?
You can vote. Right, you got a phone, you can vote. Just text.
I don't want to text. I want to say it out loud.
All right, what do you like?
I'm going for Posada. Good at bats. Yeah, good at bat. I mean, A.J. Burnett got a win, but you know what? If you ask him, it wasn't his best performance of the year. Jorge smoked one, almost got one in the upper deck.
And you're going to take it away from Jeter then, too, right?
But he's won every award known to man, so he doesn't need any more trophies.
Well, pretty much a new infield for the Yankees. Swisher is at first. He's leading off. You've got Baroa over at third. And the new shortstop is Ramiro Pena. And we mentioned Swisher takes over for Teixeira. Brett Tomko is the new pitcher.
You saw right by that lineup card, it brought back old memories. You saw the hitting charts right there, and it was the tendencies of hitters. And you can look up guys on what part of the field that most of their hits, and it helps outfielders position themselves a lot better. See, Tomko's the ball pretty well out of the bullpen for the Yankees this year.
Murphy fouls it back.
I got a question for you, Mike. See if you know this.
All right.
There's one guy on the Yankees that was one step. He still is. He could be a professional artist. Draws. Unbelievable stuff. Ryan tells me right next to me. He's telling me this stuff. And do you know who it is?
A Yankee player.
A Yankee player.
Could have been an artist.
Unbelievable. Still is an artist. But baseball got in the way, according to Ryan over here.
Well, since Tomko's on the mound, is it him?
See, you're cheating. He probably slipped you a note or something. Now, tomorrow I'm going in the clubhouse, and I'm going to see some of this.
Wait, make sure you have your pass, okay?
Well, I do. I carry that daily. That's before I even put my suit on. I got my pass, see? It's with me at all times.
Marlon Byrd with a fly ball to right. And Cabrera is right on the lip of the track. He puts it away.
You grab your makeup, and I take my pass.
There you go. Hey, after the last out, join Bob Lorenz and Ken Singleton for the WB Mason postgame. Get all of the highlights and analysis from the series opener against the Rangers. Plus, Gordon Damer has the postgame quotes from the clubhouse. The WB Mason postgame only on Yes.
Bob Lorenz is playing golf, by the way, tomorrow. I just want to let you know.
Are you playing with him?
I got an invitation, but I told him they didn't want me.
Is he going to play with Singleton?
Yes, he is.
Really?
With Woody, too. Woody Fryman.
Oh, one of the bosses.
Uh-huh. I thought he made a mistake. I checked the text twice to see if he knew he was texting. My wife brought her clubs here, so I thought I better play with her. What do you think?
It's a good idea.
That's the only match I think I can win right now, the way I'm playing.
I think I would go from the trio you just told me. I'd go with Kenny.
It's pretty good.
Yeah. Well, Kenny's good at everything. So I'll say Kenny will beat. It'll be a flat-footed tie between Woody and Lorenz, and then Kenny will be, in a walk.
Well, a three-man golf game, you play this 9-point game. There's 9 points on every hole. So I want them to play that tomorrow. I want a total tomorrow. I know Kenny knows how to play.
But they might have a fourth person we don't know.
No. I think the Donald is busy or something.
All right. Could be Coney. Just a quick phone call.
Well, Tiger's at Muirfield in Columbus this week, so he's out.
And Davis with a high fly ball to center. Gardner drifts back, still back in front of the track. He makes the play. Another 1-2-3 inning as Brett Tomko retires the Rangers in order. More golf, more baseball as we go to the bottom of the 8th. 12-3 Yanks. Land Rover drives of the game.
Drives of the game.
Drives, that's two. Yeah.
That's kind of a down night. Hideki Matsui hit his 8th home run of the year. I tell you what, prodigious home run here. Jorge Posada in the 7th. Thought we saw our first upper deck shot, but just missed. That was his 7th of the year.
Now, what do you say? If you had to make a prediction, the next 2 games here, will we see an upper deck shot?
Next 2 games?
Yeah.
No.
No way.
No, that's... yeah, unless it gets really hot. I'm saying before the All-Star break. How's that?
All right.
Before the All-Star break.
Now, Old Timers Day here. Will you hit one up there?
No, that won't happen unless I bring my golf club. Then I've got a chance.
Eddie Guardado, everyday Eddie. He doesn't pitch every day anymore. He will pitch the bottom of the 8th. And Posada lost one down the right field line. Giving chase is Davis, and for some reason he lunges forward, and it's 5 rows back. Those are Eddie Guardado's numbers. 18 games, 12 1/3 innings, 14 hits. When he was with the Minnesota Twins, he was tough. He was their closer, too. First, he started off as a setup man, a specialty lefty guy, and ended up being the closer. And they used him all the time. Everyday Eddie, they called him. Grounded, foul.
Yeah, I used to face Eddie Guardado once a day. You're right. I mean, if we went in for a 3-game series, I got 3 at-bats against him. And his whole job was to get me out because Bernie, who hit behind me, absolutely killed him. I mean, his numbers. Ryan, let me have Bernie's numbers. This is going to be funny. His numbers off Eddie Guardado. So if I was able to work a walk or get a single, it was like we won the game because Bernie was either going to hit a home run or a big hit. So Guardado, when he came in to face me, he knew if he got to Bernie, he was in trouble.
And how did you do against him?
You know, I did okay. I didn't have numbers like Bernie, believe me. But you know, he was a fun guy to face because he came right at you. I mean, there was really no tricking. He had the guts to just come out, throw strikes, and try to get you out. It was kind of like just old-fashioned baseball. And at times, in big games, you know, that can be a lot of fun.
Strike 3. Posada down looking.
That's a tough pitch there. That ball right there kind of ends up on the outside corner, but when it's in the hitting zone, you really don't have much of a chance to hit it. You know, you call that ball coming out around the plate. It ends up maybe on the corner, but in the hitting zone, it's about a foot outside. Tough pitch to hit.
That's up and in as Matsui gets moved off the plate. And Girardi's not too thrilled.
Well, you saw the target away, and you know you can't think that there's intent behind every pitch, but you know when you've been warned, everybody starts thinking about it. And, you know, pitchers do miss once in a while, and you'd hate to think that anything's intentional in a 12-3 game because basically you're looking forward to tomorrow.
I think you got yourself into trouble, Paul.
Did I? Ryan struggling?
No. This isn't about Ryan.
Oh.
Jose Veras, Chiming Wong throwing.
What'd I do now? Didn't get enough skim milk or something? What's going on?
There's a strike. Just got a text, an email from one of the 3 people that were supposed to be playing golf tomorrow. It's supposed to be a secret because it's a work day for some. So you kind of blew them up.
Well, maybe it's, video game golf or something. I don't know.
Because you could do that during the workday. That's popped up the first, and Chris Davis puts it away for the second out. Time to look at the play of the game, brought to you by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% on car insurance. And it's this takeout slide by Mark Teixeira. He got hit earlier in the inning, and that takeout slide kept the whole inning alive. He kind of upended Andrus, and it was a very clean play, and it allowed A-Rod to reach first, allowed to run the score, and allowed the inning to go on. So that is our play of the game. pitch to Melky Cabrera is outside, 1-0. There's a strike.
Probably the last time I'd be invited to play at this point. Michael?
You really ticked off a lot of people.
All three of them?
I guess so.
Oh.
Ball goes one way, back goes another. So dangerous. You got to stay alert. It's hard to get out of the way of the bat because the helicopter's over.
It's amazing how a ball, sometimes you can put your hand up, you can catch it, you ricochet, but that bat, you know, when it's helicoptering like that, can really, really injure some people.
Ball players really get spooked by that. You can see Melky still looking in the stands, seeing if everybody's okay. It's the last thing you want to do.
I don't understand that either, because I mean, I don't ever remember throwing a bat in the stands, and you'll see some guys that, you know, do it 2 or 3 times a week. It just has something to do with, you know, how you release the bat through the swing or something.
Driven out to right field. Nelson Cruz is there. And the Yankees go down in order 1, 2, 3. Well, let's see if the Rangers can rally. Last lick's coming up for them. We go to the 9th. Yankees are leading by 9, 12 to 3. And the two of us here in the booth. Who is it, Paul?
Jorge Posada. We voted for him, Michael. 3 for 5 on the night. 4 RBIs. Started off with a single and an RBI single. And one of the longer 3-run homers we've seen in the new Yankee Stadium all year. Jorge Posada. Boy, it's good to see him back.
And he is our Chevy player of the game. And the Yankees will turn over the pitching duties to Jose Veras. And those are the numbers on Veras. 3-1, 6.97, 19 hits in 20 and 2/3 innings. Too many walks, 16 strikeouts. Well, we finally unearthed the numbers on Bernie against Eddie Guardado, Paul. You were right, 12 for 31 with 4 home runs, 387. Veras deals to Saltalamacchia. He drills one deep to right. Fair ball, it's gone. It's a foul ball. Yankees need Veras to find it. He has been an enigma all year. He throws hard. He seduces you with the velocity. But this year he just does not know where the ball is going. The command is not there. And the Yankees need a guy who's going to take the 7th and 8th inning and make it his own. And nobody stepped forward, really. Brian Bruni has, but he's been hurt. That's what I mean. The ball's all over the place.
That's the thing. If you come in situations like this, you know, there's still that question mark. I mean, can he get it done in a one-run game? And that's the important games, because, you know, you're going to have your blowouts, but you've got to win those close games. I mean, the Yankees are playing pretty much as good as they can play. Now, how can they play better? And there's only really two things, and there's so many things that go along with a team winning, that they could get better. And in my mind, A-Rod can get back to being A-Rod. He hasn't had really a hot streak like some of these guys have. And you can shore up that middle relief to get to Mariano. And other than that, Michael, what else can this team do? I mean, your starting pitching's been strong. Your defense has been really, really good. And your offense up and down the lineup has been day-to-day pretty good.
Popped up. Baroa and Pena. And Baroa with the call on the catch. One away. Hey, tomorrow night at 6, the Yankees take on the Rangers in Game 2 here at the new ballpark in the Bronx. The coverage will start with batting practice today, presented by Audi, and then the pregame. Rangers and the Yankees tomorrow starting at 6. First pitch around 7:08. It's only on Yes. And here's Elvis Andrus. And the pitch is high. It's the inability, Paul, of a pitcher out in the bullpen to say this job is mine. Why the debate continues to rage about Jabba Chamberlain, whether he should be in the rotation or in the bullpen. Until somebody says this is my job and does it well and does it consistently well, people will always wonder, because they know that he can do it well. He's done it well. But when he pitches like he did last night, you say, wow, you know what? He's a pretty darn good starter.
And last night, I think, was a really, really big outing for him because of the one big numbers. He went 8 innings. I mean, he got past the 5 and the 6 number, and he got deep, deep into the game. And if you start seeing that, then the question's going to be answered.
Baroa fires over to Swisher. And the Rangers are down to their final out. Hey, after the final out, join Bob Lorenz and Kenny Singleton for the WB Mason postgame and get all of the highlights and analysis from the series opener against the Rangers. Plus, Gordon Damer is going to work the clubhouse and get all the quotes from the clubhouse. The WB Mason postgame, it's only on Yes. Jim Ming Wang was up warming. He's not going to start tomorrow. It'll be Andy Pettit. There was some question about Pettit's back, but he is a go. So Chim-Ning Wang remains a reliever. Here's Ian Kinsler. And the breaking ball is outside, 1-0. And the pitch. Low and away, 2-0. 12-3 Yankees lead. They were down 3-2 after 2.5. They were down 3-2 after 3.5, and then 7 runs in the 4th inning. They never looked back. And then the 3-run home run by Posada in the 6th, kind of a cherry on top. Good hard strike, 96 miles an hour, and that's the number why you keep coming back with Veras. You don't give up on an arm that throws 96 miles an hour. Kinsler started the game with a single and a stolen base. He did not score in the first. He's hitless in his subsequent 3 at-bats. Another strike. That one 95 miles an hour, and the Rangers are down to their final strike. And the 2-2. Just got a piece of a breaking ball. Still 2-2.
Veras is definitely one of those guys, when you come in to face another team, you look at his scouting reports on a guy and you see, oh, he's got a 6 on the ERA. And then you have an at-bat like Kinsler's happened right here. You know, 96, 95, 0-2, and then a good slider, and you're thinking to yourself, How's this guy ever give a hit up? But it's the inconsistent that you talk about, Michael.
And a 2-2. Count now 3-2. Girardi and Island have to be happy with the way things have gone of late. The pitching's been great overall. The defense has been great. Hitting as well, and that's why the Yankees have been playing so well. Whip foul. Now, the Yankees win this game, they will go 16-4 in their last 20 games, and that is an .800 winning percentage. And you can get things done with an .800 winning percentage. The errorless streak has been broken today with the throwing error by Posada, so the Yankees will hold the record at 18 games in a row. But they'll give that record up for another win, and that looks to be the way they're headed. Posada wants to talk with Veras. Paul, what could they be talking about? Nobody on base, 3-2, they're up by 9.
You know, Jorge's going to make a point here, and sometimes the catcher needs to do this to get the attention of the pitcher. You know, enough of this. I mean, you might have shook him off for not wanting the right pitch, or, you know, you're 3-2 here with 2 outs with a 9-run lead. You know, throw the ball right down the middle. If you give up a hit, you give up a hit. Sometimes as a catcher, you just have to get that across to some of your pitchers.
3-2. Shattered bat, loop to left. It's a foul ball.
And I think as you see Jorge, you know, kind of cheering him on, it's just he wants him to trust his fastball. And, you know, so what? You fouled it off. Let's go. Right there. Give me a strike. Come at somebody. If you give up a hit, you give up a hit. But trust his fastball and quit thinking so much.
So school is in session right in the middle of a game as they try to straighten Veras out.
That's a good point, Mike. I like that.
3-2. Popped up. Swisher gives it a look near the stands, but it's in the seats. And the payoff. Popped up. This should do it. Swisher is there. And he makes the play, and the Yankees win this one 12-3. So Veras works a 1-2-3 ninth inning, and Posada had himself an outstanding game for the Yankees, and the Yankees are 10 games over 500.